You started with a couple of decisions. I thought it was a great main card, all things considered. You have the back-to-back finishes by Diego Lopez, Dustin Jacoby, and Tatiana Suarez. But, Jay, when you have a main event like this, circumstantially on a night that has this Jake Paul-Nate Diaz fight, I think it maybe compounds things. So, aesthetically, not a great main event. Corey Sandhagen certainly wrestled the striker to great effect, but you were octagon side, Jay. So we'll start with you on the main event. Corey Sandhagen, 50 to 45 times 3.
Yeah, well, it's like when you see those 25-minute fights and you have a good, which frankly is like over 30 minutes with the breaks in between rounds, and you almost see where it's going to be, after 7-8 minutes. You sort of see where you're going to be 20 minutes from there, and then the crowd starts depleting. And, those boos, I'm with you, Peachy, about the boos, but that just is what it is. And, John, I think you made a great point. Or someone made a point about how you're going to have in high-level technical martial arts, you're going to have some fights that maybe Cody and I were talking, that are maybe a little boring, frankly. Doesn't mean it's not technical and I was really admiring, I'm rooting hard for Bob Font trying to get up there and liking a lot of sort of his tactics and looking like, frankly, his cardio is there actually to try and get up there. But to me, it just kind of is what it is. I enjoyed the Ankalaev-Blachowicz main event far more than many that resulted in a draw. I'm glad we've heard Ankalaev coming back now. But so for me, it just kind of is what it is. But Cody and I were talking earlier, technical fights can be boring. And that's just sort of how it wasn't the most interesting 30 minutes of my life.
Brad, what do you got on the main event, kid?
Yeah, I mean, this isn't fight of the year. I mean, but I did for as a capper, I go, okay, so when Corey fights now, he got a little bit of wrestling in him, right? He got a little of that wrestling now. That was the big thing. I mean, Aljo took him down, took his back, submitted him very quick. This was supposed to be Umar in there, and then Corey did this basically one arm, right? That's what he did. There's no fake injury there. I've seen the videos.
Yes.
He's getting surgery, all that. And Rob Font didn't have much off his back. He tried a couple guillotines and stuff, but he couldn't get up off his back. So Corey's obviously pretty heavy on top. Rob Font's a complete fighter. So I'm taking all the positives away from Corey. The only negative I would say is if Cheeto goes out there and knocks out Pedro Munoz, Corey's probably not next. Cheeto will leapfrog him. Even though Corey has a win over that, they're going to go, hey, this guy right here, this guy he's excited. He bangs. Let's bring this guy in. And then, everyone made a big deal about Dana White leaving and all this stuff. So I think Corey fought a smart, good fight. And he showed a new wrinkle to his game, which I appreciate. You know what I mean? Moving forward.
Ray, I think people make too much of Dana White leaving before John, the main event. Go ahead.
Yes. Yeah. I'm sorry. This is why they're taking pictures with Petrie. For this is why the guy's dead on everything.
But what did he just leapfrog your guy Marab? He didn't even mention
Jay. Your mic is so fucking grating. I'm sending you a mic right after the show.
Sorry, but he didn't talk about Dewalish Willie. That's all.
Yeah,
I'm just waiting for a window to get in here. There's a little delay.
Sandhagen to be penalized for that, unfortunately. And look, there's a lot to unpack. But when you're backstage with the fighters, guys, and after the weigh-in, they take the fighters in the room to give them the pep talk. They don't take the coach. They don't want the coaches anywhere near that. You know why? Because when they're talking, the coach is going to go, "Fucking don't listen to that, man. Fight your fucking fight. We don't give a shit." There's a group of people that think Lenny Garcia versus the Korean Zombie was a great fight. It was a barroom brawl. Yeah, it was exciting. We all want to see those fights. But was it a technical fight? Absolutely not. So again, I think Cruz hits it out of the park on the broadcast. That's why you need different guys looking at things, because he brings up the technicality of what was going on. And, like Brian says, now, poor Corey goes in there thinking, I'm going to show a side of my game that no one's ever seen before, and I'm injured, and it's the way I want to go. And the guy's going to come out, and he's miserable now that everybody's bitching about it. So, I think the real people in the game understand what was going on. They have an appreciation for it, but, they are running a business. I will never argue with that, whether I agree with it or disagree. You want excitement, obviously. You want the optics of that. You want people getting knocked out. But sometimes it does have to do what they do to get the W. And hats off to Corey Sandhagen. You could tell he's a super cerebral guy. He wants to improve all the time. I wouldn't penalize the guy for it. I'd compliment him for it.
Hopefully his elbow is not a torn triceps. That can be an annoying longer-term injury. But yeah, I mean, a clean fight for Corey Sandhagen, great corner, Christian Allen, Carrington Banks, Ryan Hall. They touch on all phases, and yeah, they're going to beat you at what you're not good at, and seemingly that's going to be the strategy going forward. And if that's off-putting for some of the fan base, then I think so be it. I don't know how he'll be penalized. Brian, did Dana do a post-fight press conference after this or no?
No, I haven't seen. The only thing Dana posted was about the Kid Rock. Kid Rock gave him some guns. That's all I saw.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know that Dana has necessarily addressed this. I'm not sure the extent to which Corey Sandhagen is going to be penalized. There are a lot of different layers to this main event to get into. I don't know that Rob Font was expectant that he was going to get wrestled to that degree. And even though I thought his defensive grappling was pretty good early, it was not particularly good late. Dominic Cruz is a fantastic grappling jiu-jitsu analyst. There is not a single thing. And he had me in Darce chokes all weekend. I am never going back to jiu-jitsu class, but I'm just telling you, there's nothing that could happen in that octagon that he does not recognize acutely and can't simplify and explain to the audience. So I wanted to shout out Dominic Cruz there. But Ray, Corey Sandhagen is an outstanding striker and would beat a lot of the guys in this division in a straight kickboxing match. But he's also maybe the foremost student of the game in this entire division. So I don't know that anybody should be all that surprised that he's going to present a more layered version as he gets to a more advanced stage.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. I'm going to tell you something too. Dominic Cruz said something I couldn't agree with more. When he said, you know, everybody's saying you do this, do that, do that. If it ain't in your wheelhouse, you ain't doing shit. That's why I always say what the fuck is a game plan? We all know what game plan should be. Can your guy do it? And some guys can't. So that, to me, the real game plan is when you can't do something and you make what you can work. That's a game plan, because then that takes special training. But yeah, you could talk all day long, go for the leg, do this, do that. It's the guys, you could see that's not where he was at. You know, so Dominic, I think, you know, a lot of times, you know, even I disagree with some of the things, especially when he's ragging on this. But for the most part, man, I agree 100% with him. He's an intelligent guy. He does a great, you know, job analyzing those positions and explaining it to the people. He was dead on with that. He can't do it. If he could do it, he would do it. You know, I think it's that simple. You know what I mean? So hats off to him.
So Jason, Dominic, and I were able to watch the last 4 rounds of Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz. And Jay, you had a front row seat for Dom going at one of the Jake Paul supporters in the room. That was fun.
Well, Dominic Cruz, I mean, no matter who you are, no matter how long he's known you, anything you utter out of your mouth, he will hold you to it. I've said it on my show before. So if you no matter what you say, if he doesn't agree with it, and he's tactful, but you know, and this dude is yoked and, you know, drunk, and I'm just and Dom's just sitting there just picking this guy apart verbally, to the point where the guy's like basically like, I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm, you know, like he's pulling on his side. But Dom is just I've never met anyone quite like Dom. Yeah, but I like it. I like being challenged by Dom more than most things. He's the man.
Yeah, Jason, I'll disagree with one thing you said. Tactfully, not tactful at all. He's right in your face, that guy. He's going to say what he wants. I don't know how tact there is with that, but I mean, he's attacked me and Sarah together. I mean, the guy's awesome. He really is. He definitely cannot control himself. There's no way in the world.
No. So one thing that as a parent, I really try to preach is tactfulness. And yeah, Jay, I think you left out just 2 words. He can be tactful for sure. He can lead the league in tactlessness as well. But I absolutely love the man. One of my best friends in the world. Brian Petrie, I'd like to begin with you on Tatiana Suarez over Jessica Andrade with a guillotine choke. It comes at 131 of the second round, 1 of 5 performance bonus winners on the night. And for the first time in the history of the Anik and Florian podcast, both of our handicappers offered up 5-unit plays on Tatiana. Jay and I were talking about this in our hotel room, that all of these sharps were loading up on Suarez by finish. I have to think the books got absolutely killed. What were your thoughts on Suarez doing what most expected her to do in Nashville?
I loved it. You know, I said this last podcast. I'll say it again because they're picking up a little steam. You know, I know chicks, man. You know what I mean? 5-unit whack here. No, listen, I had her by submission too. It was plus 225. I got it early in the day. And I like what she did. I mean, Andrade stuck, kept her hips out. You're not getting a single. You're not getting a double on me. So guess what she does? She goes and ankle picks her. and takes her to the ground and works her game on top. Didn't rush anything, kept her distance in the first round, didn't try to rush the finish, avoided those big bombs against a legend in Andrade, and then goes out there and uses one of those fancy chokes her boyfriend's teaching her, or that she's teaching him. Who knows? She's that good, and got her out of there. And I was blown away. Again, I've said it before, I'm not doing a hot take here, but without the injury, she'd be champion. And I'm looking for maybe one more fight from her, and then we're going to see her for the belt, I think, unless they rush her to the belt. But I think the belt's coming soon.